إله إلا الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد، we are reading from the book Al-Farq Bayna An-Naseehah wal-Ta'īn. Al-Farq Bayna An-Naseehah wal-Ta'īn is a very, very small risala in its size, but big in its benefit. Its size is small, but its benefit is big. And as the title goes, Imām Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he seeks to explain to us Al-Farq Bayna An-Naseehah wal-Ta'īn, the difference between advising somebody and reproaching him. He told us that the reason he is doing this, some of the people take advice as reproach. Sometimes when you advise someone, he is angered. And you advise him, another thing is that he feels angered. Why? He considers good advice as reproach. He sees Naseehah as what? At-Tibyān. Good Naseehah. Good advice. It can be between a man to his wife. How many times will a man say to his wife, "Oh no, don't do this like this." Then she starts making it. She sees Naseehah as what? Ta'īn. And how many times will a man make ta'īn? A brother will make ta'īn of his brother. He calls him Oletelafa. He calls him names. Why are you abusing me? Say, no, it's Naseehah. So sometimes people take the truth for themselves. There's a big difference between what and Naseehah and what. What are those differences? That is what Imām Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali seeks to address in this book. That he has titled so clearly, Al-Farq Bayna An-Naseehah wal-Ta'īn, the difference between An-Naseehah, good advice, and what? At-Ta'īn, reproach or reprimand, or empty criticism. He just wants to criticize the man or woman. So at the beginning he said, Rahimahullah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If I'm reading a book, I'm never tired of reading the book. I may read a passage 20 times. If it's a hadith, I can come back to that hadith 20 times until I feel, okay, it's enough, let's proceed. So don't say, we have read this book before. We can read it again and again and again and again and again. So when we start it, I don't say we'll finish it next tomorrow. It's not about to career. So you won't be able to, you won't feel comfortable in the classroom. Because the explanation today will be different from the explanation yesterday. Go and listen to our classes. When you read it today, you say, okay, let's explain it like that. When you read it again, you see another way of explaining it. That's the difference between the halaqat and the university. In the university, even one approach to explanation may not even be completed. Before they start telling you, hey, the syllabus, hey, the exam is approaching, hey, we have to. There's a big, big difference. I studied a book with one of the teachers, Shaykh 5 times. In each of these 5 times, I used to sit in other people's classes to listen to their own. You always find the explanations are different. Different examples, different illustrations. As if you should continue to read the book again and again. 5 5 times. And it should not be strange. Al-Imam al-Muzani studied At-Risala by Al-Imam al-Shafi'i 500 times. Muzani studied At-Risala by Shafi'i 500 times. He says, وَمَا مِن مَرَّةٍ مَرَرْتُ بِالْكِتَابِ. There is no time that I read that book except that I find other points of benefit that I had not seen before. Ibn Hajar was said to have learned Sahih al-Bukhari from 10 teachers, from each of them 10 times. Sahih al-Bukhari from 10 teachers, from each of them 10 times. So how many times did he study the book? So we should be patient. That is the way in our religion books are taught. How much are you explaining and explaining and explaining? Because we are not reading it to write an exam. We are reading it to rectify ourselves and remind ourselves. We are reading it to rectify, to change our approach to life and to gain good knowledge. So you can teach them. Say, come, I know this. Anywhere inside it, I know what is missing. That's why we'll be starting the book again and again. The last day we were reading to end Aqidah to Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawa. A brother told me that he thinks that we should start it all over again. We remember that day. The last reading we had, brother came and said, maybe we should read this book again. And we spent a lot of time on that book. Don't be in haste when you learn, when you study. We are not in a university. We are not going to write exams. We want to understand and have impact on ourselves with the book that we read. That's our own books. We are not seeking a master's degree. That's our own objective in studying. Allah make it beneficial to all of us. Rajab bin al-Hambali said, rahimahullah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We know why scholars start their book with what? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Because the Quran itself, Allah started his own book with what? Bismillahir Rahim. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, when he wrote a message to any group of people, he starts with what? Bismillah. If you go to Sahih al-Bukhari, that's all Al-Imam Al-Bukhari started his book as Sahih with no muqaddimah. The muqaddimah of Sahih al-Bukhari is what? Bismillahir Rahman. If you read Kitab al-Tawheed by Imam Ibn Abdul Wahhab, the muqaddimah is what? Bismillahir Rahman. So from the Sunnah of this Ummah, in addition to the Quran, starting with Bismillahir Rahman. From the Sunnah of this Ummah is that we start our books with what? Bismillah. He said, Rahimahullah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatuhu wa salamuhu ala Imam al-Muttaqeen, wa khatam al-Nabiyyin, wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, wa tabi'in lahum بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, when he spoke to the people in an admonition, what does he start with? Alhamdulillah. Even dua. He saw someone making dua. He made dua, but he stood up to the Prophet and said, Ajila hada. This one was in a haste. Call him back. He started dua. He didn't say Alhamdulillah at the beginning of dua. So the Prophet told him, alayhi salatu wasalam, when any of you makes dua, you should start with what? Alhamdulillah. Yumajjiduhu wa yusmi alayhi. He praises Allah, he glorifies Allah subhanahu. Then he says, Salatu wassalamu ala Rasul. Don't forget this thing when you make dua. Start your dua with what? Alhamdulillah. When you start dua with Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, you are asking for more. Because Allah had already done some things to you before. So you want to add to what He has done to you before. He will add, and then you want to add again. So when you say Alhamdulillah, you're also making dua. Don't be in a haste. Start your dua with Alhamdulillah. Likewise, you start your speech with what? Alhamdulillah. There's a hadith in Sahih Muslim. There was a man amongst the Arabs. He used to exercise people, remove genes from people. I know Arabs used to abuse the Prophet Muhammad. Innahu lamajnun. They were saying that the Prophet was possessed with a jinn. So during one of the Hajj, that man came to Makkah. He was invited to speak to the Prophet Muhammad. He wants to remove jinn from the Prophet, according to their accusations. So he came to the Prophet Muhammad. So he asked the Prophet, speak to me. The Prophet said, Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu, wa nasta'inuhu, wa nastaghfiruh, wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina, sayyi'ati a'malina. As you know, it's by human suffering. The Prophet was reading it. Ya ayyuhalladhina, that till the end of it. The man says, A'id alayya kalamaka ya Muhammad. Repeat your statements to me, O Muhammad. The Prophet started again. Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu, wa nasta'inuhu. At the end of that speech, this man accepted Islam. He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu annaka rasulullah. You know why? He says, قَدْ سَمِعْتُ أَقْوَالًا مِنْ I have heard people who have genes. I know how they talk. This one you are saying is not a statement of a person who is possessed by a gene. So even in Alhamdulillah does its work. That was why Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah in Al-Fatawa, he said, I am surprised at some people. They have khutbatul haja. Inna alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udhu billahi, that the Prophet taught us, alayhi salam. He said, but when they want to commence their speech, you start hearing them, Subhana zil jabarut, Subhana zil jalali wal ikram, Subhana. They start speaking big Larabawa. When the Prophet told you something easy, better for you. Or you have not heard of this Larabawa. Some of them, it is song they start saying. Even our brothers upon Sunnah and Salafiyah, they want to speak instead of starting with Inna alhamdulillah. You start hearing them. I have a microphone. One of us, they give his student microphone. I don't even know the song to start with because I'm not a singing person. Orin yóò fi máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ṣáà bí máa ń forin bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Alayhi salatu àgbà gbogbo àpá. Títí ànábì bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sẹ́lẹ̀. Ṣé orin ló máa ń fi bẹ̀rẹ̀? Irú ọmọ wo làwọn fẹ́ yà wọ́n? So when we start our speech, when we start our explanations, when we start our books, what do we start with? Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu, nasta'inuhu. So this is what Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, has said there. And he followed it with salatu wassalam wassalam ala rasulillah. Then he said, amma ba'd, another sunnah again. So I told Korin, you also say amma ba'd. The one which singing will not remember amma ba'd. And to say amma ba'd, if you say it, you get rewards. If your rewards without saying these things are 10, for example, when you say these things, your rewards are double to Allahu A'lam number. And we are the ones saying that وَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الْهَدِي هَدِي مُحَمَّدٍ alayhi salam. The best guidance is the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad. Yet when we speak, we forget all this manhaj. We are talking about manhaj. You throw it away. You start your own. May Allah forgive all of us. Ibn Rajab said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatuhu wa salamuhu ala Imām al-Muttaqeen, wa Khatam al-Nabiyyin, wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, wa tabi'in lahum ihsan ila yawm al-din, amma ba'd. Then says, فَهَذِهِ كلمات مختصرة جامعة. فهذه كلمات مختصرة جامعة في الفرق بين النصيحة والتعليم. This is a small kalimat. These are expressions مختصرة. They are summarized, جامعة, but they contain a lot of things. I have summarized these expressions. I made it brief, but they contain a lot of things. في الفرق بين النصيحة والتعليم. Regarding the difference between what and what? An-Naseehah and what? At-Tibyān. فإنهما. Why do you need to separate between the two of them? If two things do not look similar, you don't need to separate them. You can make it to bad around. So the reason he wants to make a separation is that they look like themselves. They have common factors. So we have to disconnect the two of them. Yes, they have things in common, but they are separate. So he said, Rahimahullah, فَإِنَّهُمَا يَشْتَرِكَانِ فِي أَنَّ كُلَّ مِنْهُمَا ذِكْرُ الْإِنسَانِ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ ذِكْرَهُ. فإنهما, because these two things, An-Naseehah and At-Tibyān, yashtarika, they combine, they include two things, they include one thing. The two of them have something in common. What is that? Anna kulla minhuma, that's the two of them, each one of these two things, dhikrul insani bima yakrahu dhikruhu. It has to do with mentioning a person with something that he does not like to be mentioned about him. You mention that he's not a reliable person. You mention that he made a mistake here. You mention that he's stingy. As we shall come back to today, inshallah. So the two of them, both Naseehah and what? At-Tibyān. يَشْتَرِكَانِ فِي أَنَّ كُلًّا مِنْهُمَا ذِكْرُ الْإِنسَانِ بما يكره ذكره وقد يشتبه الفرق بينهم. The two of them include mentioning a person with something that he does not like to be mentioned about him. وقد يشتبه الفرق بينهما عند كثير من الناس. And many of the people will not understand. يشتبه الفرق. The difference between these two things will appear ambiguous to a lot of people. So what is the difference between Naseehah? In Naseehah, he will mention his faults to me. You did so yesterday. It is not good. Don't do it again. In At-Tibyān, you will still mention that thing that he did that is not good, or that he said that it is not good. So they combine in terms of mentioning the faults of the person. So because of this combination, God, many of the people, يَشْتَبِهُ الْفَرْقُ, the difference will be ambiguous. It will be unclear in the kathir min al-nas, to many of the people. Wallahu al-muwaffiqu lis-sawab. And it is Allah alone that guides someone to what is correct. The reason I'm writing this book is that the two of them have similarities. So the difference between the two of them may not be clear to many of the people. So I want to explain the difference between An-Naseehah and what? At-Tibyān, because it may not be clear to many. So he said, Rahimahullah, Ilam anna dhikra al-insan. Understand this point properly. Anna dhikra al-insan bima yakrahu muharramun. Mentioning a person with something that he does not like is muharram. It is something that is prohibited. Allah does not like it. Brothers, Allah does not like you to mention about your brother what he does not like. when he made Hajjatul Wada, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, some of the scholars say about 140,000 people were present in that Hajj. When he made a khutbah at Wadi Urana on the day of Arafah, that khutbah people say the Prophet's last sermon. It's not Prophet's last sermon, don't mind them. But it was a sermon that he gave at Wadi Urana, not even at Arafah. He had not reached Arafah before he gave that khutbah. But Wadi Urana is next to Arafah. If I'm in Owode, should you say that I gave a talk in Oshogo when I gave a talk in Owode? Despite the fact that Owode is very near to, let me not use Owode, let me use Abere. Somebody gave a khutbah in Abere, and then he came to Oshogo. He said he gave the khutbah in Oshogo. Is Abere part of Oshogo? And Oshogo. People from Ede should keep quiet here. Is Abere part of Oshogo or not? Brothers Oshogo. It's part of it. So Wadi Urana is very near to Arafah. Don't make that mistake as people make the mistake. The Prophet did not give that statement alayhi salatu wasalam at Arafah. Where did he give it? Wadi Urana. What does Wadi Urana mean? The valley of Urana. So the valley, big valley. So there that he stood, the people were there and gave this khutbah. He said alayhi salatu wasalam, Inna dima'akum wa amwalakum wa a'radakum haramun alaykum ka hurmati yawmikum hadha fi baladikum hadha wa fi shahrikum hadha. Alayhi salatu said, O people, ayyuhan nas, inna dima'akum, your blood, the blood of each of you, the life of each of you, wa amwalakum, the possessions of each of you, wa a'radakum, and the honor of each of you, haramun alaykum, it is sanctimonious over you, it is holy, so to speak. I hold it sacrosanct, I hold it in full respect. You should honor it. It's a thing of honor. Don't disgrace that honor. Meaning, don't take someone's life. Don't take someone's property. And likewise, don't disgrace someone's honor. Don't violate his honor. Don't violate his honor. Don't take his life. Don't take his property. So when you mention him with at-ta'yid, when you mention him like Ibn Rajab said, Zikrul insani bima yakrahu, mention him with something that he does not like. You are already impounding upon what is honor. You are disgracing him. You are bringing him down. And what did the Prophet say about that? He said it is what? Haramun alayh. Don't disgrace. Don't start talking about me or about your brother, something he does not like. We are coming to that in some details, inshallah, today. He does not like you. Don't call him. Don't call him long neck. Don't call him long nose. Don't call him big head. By way of reviling him and bringing him down. Don't do it. Haram. Haram. Don't insult his family. Haram. Don't disgrace him. Haram. Haramun alaykum. Some of us turn ourselves to looking for the faults of others. We say that is manhaj salafi. We are coming back to it. You find the faults of your brother. Hey, he didn't want to money. He didn't want to money. He didn't want to money. Hear what the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, in a hadith reported by Abu Barzata al-Aslam, rahimahullah, and Imam Abu Dawood and Ahmad in his Musnad have reported this hadith. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya ma'ashara man amana bilisanihi wa lam yadkhul al-iman fi qalbi. Ya ma'ashara man amana bilisanihi وَلَمْ يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ قَلْبَهُ. Hey, oh you, آمَنْتُمْ بِلِسَانِكُمْ بِأَلْسِنَتِكُمْ. You only believe on your tongues, but Iman has not entered your heart. I call you, oh you who Iman is just on your tongue. We are mu'minun, we are salami, we are hey. It ends only on your tongue. Iman has not gone into your heart. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, La tagtabu al-Muslimin. Don't go on backbiting the Muslims. Oh, you Mr. Backbiter, Iman is on your tongue, it has not entered your heart. La tagtabu al-Muslimin. Don't go on backbiting the Muslims. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا أَوْرَاتِهِمْ. Don't go on following up their faults. Don't backbite Muslims. Don't follow up their faults. You who claim Iman on your tongue, that Iman has not entered your heart. لَا تَتَّبِعُوا الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا أَوْرَاتِهِمْ. Don't go on following the awrat, the faults, the mistakes. He's the one searching, he's the one looking, he's the one doing it, he's the one checking this. Oh, that's your job. That's what you call manhaj. La tagtabu al-Muslimin. Don't go on backbiting the Muslims. And don't go on following their awrats, their faults. Their aura is something you like to cover. You don't like everybody to see it about you. They want to expose you. So they start writing, Shaykh Labaja exposed. Hear what the Prophet said about you, alayhi salatu wasalam. Shaykh Lakase be exposed. Abi, listen to this if you have Iman in your heart. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, فَإِنَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ عَوْرَاتِهِمْ. Because anyone, أَوْ مَنْ تَتَبَّعَ عَوْرَاتَهُمْ, the one who goes on searching for their awratihim, تَتَبَّعَ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ. Allah will follow up your own faults too. وَمَنْ يَتَّبِعِ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ. Anyone that Allah goes following up his awrat, his faults, يَفْضَحُهُ فِي بَيْتِهِ. Allah will disgrace him, even if it be inside his house. Your own job is to go on finding the faults of others. Allah will disgrace you. He will disgrace you inside your house. If you are still under your father will not see you as anything. I heard about somebody like that. He's one of the heads of all those boxes, exposing one shaykh or the other upon falsehood and on clarity. Someone told me that person, his father sees him like one idiot in the house. I said, Sadaqa Rasul alayhi salam. Ọmọ burúkú kan ni wọ́n pè nínú ilé wọn. فإنه من تتبع عورات المسلمين تتبع الله عورته ومن تتبع الله عورته يفضحه في بيته. If Allah follows you in your faults, He will disgrace you even in your house. Because the essence of that is just about ta'if. So that's why Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, أَيْلَمْ أَنَّ ذِكْرَ الْإِنسَانِ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ مُحَرَّمٌ. Mentioning a person with something that is does not like is haram. Those narrations are the evidences that it is haram. Allah also told us, وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. Let not anyone amongst you make ghiba of the other one. You speak about him behind him. That is if it is true. If what you are saying is true. If what you are saying is not true about him, then that is slander. You are doing buhtan. It says bahattahu is buhtan. Lying and spreading a lie about a person is buhtan. It's worse than mujarradul kadhib, and it is worse than mujarradul ghiba. It is both of them. Ghiba plus what? Al-Kadhib. What does it equal to? Al-Buhtan. So Ibn Rajab said, rahimahullah, اعلم أن ذكر الإنسان بما يكره محرم. You should understand it is prohibited that you mention an individual with something. ما يكره, that's his aura. He doesn't want you to see his aura. He covers it. So you can't say, I saw it. I saw your aura. It is part of shamelessness. If you saw the aura, should you not take your face away? Some people are so shameless. So if you are passing by the front of a bathroom and somehow you chance upon seeing the person having a bath, you stop to take a picture? You won't stop to take a selfie? No. Any person who is sensible will remove his face. In fact, if the person said, did you just pass by? And I say, I was just trying to, you will not be able to say, I passed by. Because saying that you passed by will expose the fact that you had seen his aura. Everybody likes his aura to be covered. You now take it as a job to be showing the people's aura. It contradicts the Sharia, it contradicts common sense. If your sense is common. So for the sake of Allah, it is haram. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, من تتبع الله أو من يتبع الله أورته, anyone that Allah follows up his faults, يفضحه في بيته. He will disgrace him in the place where he should be covered. If a person has a problem outside, where does he run to? Back to his house. And here he is, where Allah will disgrace him, inside his house. May Allah protect us. So he said, "Ilam anna dhikra al-insani bima yakrahu muharram." Mentioning a person's aura, something that he does not like to be mentioned about him. You know it. I knew the day that he did this. I know the day that he did this. He did it like this. He did it like this. And as you say it, it will be as if they burn the person with hot iron. He will be feeling bad that you are saying this about him. And when you look at him, you'll be smiling. Time. Allah will disgrace you too. It's a matter of time. So it is haram. إذا كان المقصود منه مجرد الذم والعيب والنقص. It is haram إذا كان المقصود منه, if the intention of doing that is مجرد الذم, you just want to disgrace him and bring him down. والعيب, you just want to point out his faults. You only just want to expose him. That's all. Nothing upon that. Nothing furthermore do you gain from it. One nafs. You just want to show to the people that he's not complete. You think that he's complete. He's not complete though. You think that he's a good person. He's not good though. You ask me why the way people are praising him. I have to let people know that he's not. That's just the reason. It is haram. What is the reason for telling the people about his fault? I just want people to know that he has a fault. So why do you want to make people to know that he has a fault? The way they have been praising him too much. They have been talking about him too much. Is he the only Shaykh and Ustaz and Afa in the town? He alone. So let me show that he has faults too. Unfortunately, he did not tell you that he doesn't have a fault. Allah has just covered him. So that thing that Allah has covered, you are the one who wants to open it, Abi. Don't worry. Allah will disgrace you up to the house of your mother. Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen mentioned a ziyada of this hadith in his sharh on Riyadh al-Salihin. He said, even if it be in the house of your mother, what is the difference between your own house and the house of your mother? Where do you get the best protection? Your house or the house of your mother? Huh? Your mother's house. Mothers can give their lives to protect their children. So if you inside with your mother, you'll be a disgraced person. May Allah protect all of us. So he went on and said, Rahimahullah, فَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ فِيهِ مَصْلَحَةٌ. But if speaking about the faults of that person has any particular benefit, لِعَامَةِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, to the generality of the Muslims, خَاصَةً لِبَعْضِهِمْ, or specifically a group of them, especially when it has to do with the noble, respected people amongst the Muslims. There is a benefit that will come when the faults of that person is mentioned. وَكَانَ الْمَقْصُودُ مِنْهُ, and the reason for that ta'lim, the reason for exposing him, تَحْصِيلَ تِلْكَ الْمَصْلَحَةِ, you want to obtain and benefit that maslahah, that benefit, that advantage. فَلَيْسَ بِمُحَرَّمٍ. In that case, mentioning that fault is not haram, is not prohibited. بَلْ مَنْدُوبٌ إِلَيْهِ. In fact, it is encouraged that we should expose those faults. So I say, okay, what are those masalih? What are those benefits you want to get? He said, Rahimahullah, إن كان فيه مصلحة لعامة المسلمين خاصة لبعضهم وكان المقصود منه تحصيل تلك المصلحة فليس بمحرم بل مندوب إليه. It is not haram. There's a benefit to give. We must say it. So what are those benefits that for which we should mention? In fact, Al-Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah, he said it may be compulsory for you to say it. Compulsory. It will be compulsory, not just mandubun ilayh. قد يكون واجبا عليك ذكره. Mention it may be compulsory on you to mention. So what are those cases where we should mention, we are encouraged to mention about the faults of the person? Don't mention the faults of the person. Abi, it is haram if there is no benefit in it for the generality of the Muslims. If there is benefit in it for the generality of the Muslims and the respected ones amongst the Muslims, they will benefit from your mentioning those faults, then it is encouraged to benefit the people with those faults within the limits that we shall read now. We'll see them. And Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah, most of those who came later will ascribe that statement, these expressions to An-Nawawi. But each of them is spread in the various books, in the books of hadith, in the books of fiqh, regarding this matter. But An-Nawawi put all of them together in a single place. So most of those, rahimahullah, Abu Zakaria, Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Din, An-Nawawi, he is the one who gathered them all together in a single place. He took them from here. With their evidence, he placed them there. And that occurs in his work, Kitab al-Adhkar. He has a book, Kitab al-Adhkar. I don't know whether our young Salafi brothers read books like this again. Kitab al-Adhkar. My first copy of Kitab al-Adhkar, I went to check it today. I wrote 96 there, 1996. 1996. Allahu Alam. Allah knows how many times we read Kitab al-Adhkar. I don't know whether our young Salafi brothers read books like this again. Because these are books that will draw you close to Allah. Kitab al-Adhkar, you benefit a lot from it. And I have a lot of stories with that book, Kitab al-Adhkar, by Imam An-Nawawi. A lot of stories with the book. My first copy, like I said, was in 1996. I still have it today. May Allah make them beneficial to us. The Imam al-Nawawi, this copy is the tahqiq of Shaykh Salim al-Hilali that he called Sahih al-Adhkar al-Nawawiyah. He went into al-Adhkar by Imam al-Nawawi, he did the tahqiq. And he removed those ahadith that are da'ifa from the book. So he called it Sahih al-Adhkar al-Nawawiyah. Because the book became popular as Al-Adhkar lin-Nawawi or Al-Adhkar al-Nawawiyah. But the book was by Al-Imam al-Nawawi, Kitab al-Adhkar. So this copy is the tahqiq. I'm sure Abdur-Raūf, this one will be available now everywhere. With this tahqiq of Shaykh Salim. Even this tahqiq of Shaykh Salim had come out very long time ago. Very long time ago. This tahqiq is 2000, 2001. 2000, 2001. This print at Toba Tugula, 2005. This Toba is 2005. So 2005 to now, how many years is that? 18 years. 19 years. If you have a girl that you gave birth to 2005, by now, some brothers would have been telling you salam alaikum in your house. As the engineer. So let us hear what Imam al-Nawawi said. Those circumstances where the Sharia encourages you or even obligates you to say about a Muslim the fault that you find in him. He said, Rahimahullah, Imam al-Nawawi, عِلَمْ أَنَّ الْغِيبَةَ وَإِنْ كَانَتْ مُحَرَّمَةٌ. You should understand that al-ghiba, even though it is haram, فإنها تباح في أحوال المصلحة. Ghiba would be allowed in the circumstances of benefit. وَالْمُجَوِّزُ لِهَذَا. What will make it allowed, what will make it mubah, is what غرض صحيح شرعي لا يمكن الوصول إليه إلا بها. It is a غرض, a purpose that is lawful in the Sharia, that you cannot attain that purpose unless you expose that person. We have a purpose. We want to achieve that purpose. We cannot achieve that purpose until we expose that person. Those are the kinds of things that makes it lawful to now expose the person. So what are those things? So he says, Rahimahullah, وَالْمُجَوِّزُ لِهَذَا. What will make ghiba be mubah in the Sharia regarding a Muslim is غرض صحيح شرعي لا يمكن الوصول إليه إلا بها وهو أحد 6 أسباب. We cannot achieve that main serious objective unless we expose it. So what are those objectives? What are those things that can make us expose a Muslim? That can make us speak evil of a Muslim? That can make us expose the aura, quote unquote, of a Muslim? What are those asbab? He said it is one of 6 things that I will say. Rahimahullah. One of 6 things. Ikhwa. We have a long reading to make. We read and we proceed. Inshallah, it is clear. The way of the Salaf is that they speak little and it will be clear. So I'll read and just go on explaining. Inshallah. It is clear. It doesn't need much ta'liqat. He said, Rahimahullah, Al-awwalu at-tadallum. The first reason why you can expose a Muslim is at-tadallum. Seeking justice. Seeking to be free from unjust treatment. Seeking to be free from cheating. He said, Rahimahullah, فَيَجُوزُ لِلْمَظْلُومِ أَنْ يَتَظَلَّمَ إِلَى السُّلْطَانِ. It is allowed for a person who has been cheated أَنْ يَتَظَلَّمَ إِلَى السُّلْطَانِ to go and report the cheating to the authorities. Someone cheats, you go and report. When you report, what do you say? You say Abdur-Rahman, Abdul-Fatah, Rashid, Abdul-Ghaffar, he stole my money. Even
You have mentioned something wrong about him. It is not because you want to mention something wrong about him, but you want to achieve something. What do you want to achieve? You want to obtain your rights from him. You can't obtain that right until you mention his faults. He said, At-Tibyān. فَيَجُوزُ لِلْمَظْلُومِ أَنْ يَتَظَلَّمَ إِلَى السُّلْطَانِ وَالْقَاضِ. It is allowed for you to ask for justice, to ask to be protected from cheating. Go and report the case to police or to the appropriate authorities. وَالْقَاضِ, likewise to the judge. وَغَيْرِهِمَا, and other than them. مِمَّنْ لَهُ وِلَايَةٌ, among those who have authority. أَوْ لَهُ قُدْرَةٌ عَلَى إِنصَافِهِ مِنْ ظَالِمِهِ, or those who have the ability عَلَى إِنصَافِهِ, to help him gain justice. مِنْ ظَالِمِهِ, from the one who has cheated him and treated him with injustice. وَيَذْكُرُ أَنَّ فُلَانًا ظَلَمًا. So when he gets there, he will say, Fulan ظَلَمًا. So and so played me OBT, obtained by Jews. So and so did 419 to me. So and so he cheated me. So you are reporting to police. You can say that. وَفَعَلَ بِي كَذَا. Or he did so and so to me. He punched me in my face. He punched me in my... You can say that. You report it to the police. Or he stole my property. I saw him when he was stealing it. If you go to him, he can beat you up. So you go to police. Police has sulta over him. And police can help you get insult. They can protect you away from the cheating that he is cheating. وَأَخَذَنِي كَذَا. He took so and so thing belonging to me. وَنَحْوَ ذَلِكَ. And things like that. So the first condition that can make us expose the fault of the Muslim is what? At-Tibyān. Reporting a case of injustice by way of seeking justice. Okay. If you are reporting it to somebody who is not in a place to be able to help you seek justice, is it part of Tibyān? No. So it will only be permissible if you are reporting to the appropriate authority. At-Tibyān ila sultan, to constituted authority, to police, to army, to air force, anybody you can report the matter to, or to a lawyer. Because sometimes you don't need police before you go to court. You can file a case in the court directly. So when you are now reporting to the lawyer is writing it down so that he can file the case for you. It is also from the process of what? At-Tibyān. Said Afghani, I told you it's clear. Afghani, الاستعانة على تغيير المنكر ورد المعاصي إلى الصواب. You are seeking help على تغيير المنكر, to change something that is bad. وَرَدِّ الْعَاصِي إِلَى الصَّوَابِ. You want to push the person who is committing a sin to stop the sin, push him to what is correct. Someone does a thing that is bad. Everybody saw it or nobody saw it. He said, I can't talk to him. Let me go and talk to Abu Abdul-Fattah. Abu Abdul-Fattah can talk to him. This is al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. Seeking help. You discuss someone with someone, hoping that that person you are discussing with, he can help you talk to the other person who is doing something bad. I have many cases like this. Many. One brother will say, Ustaz, so person did so thing. Help me talk to him. Al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. Asking for help so that you are able to change something that is bad. وَرَدِّ الْعَاصِي إِلَى الصَّوَابِ. So that that sinful person can be helped to leave sinfulness. Please help me talk to him. Please help me sermonize him. It can be from a woman to her husband. She can't talk to him. It can be from a man to his wife. Or he spoke to him, she's not budging. Okay, I know somebody that if I tell him, you go change by force. In fact, the mere fact that the person heard that, so person has heard about it, they start turning around to change immediately. This is lawful in Islam. Al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. Or you report a child to the father. Abu, so person did so thing. It is al-isti'anatu ala tadbir al-munkar. What he did is bad. He's that. It's bad really. Don't worry, I'll work on it. But don't forget, it is not just to anybody. Al-isti'anatu ala tadbir al-munkar should be to the person who has the ability to help that person change that thing. So Imam Nawawi said, rahimahullah, وَيَكُونِ لِمَنْ يَرْجُو قدرته على إزالة المنكر ويقول لمن يرجو قدرته على إزالة المنكر. So he will tell somebody that he hopes that that person has qudra ala izalat al-munkar. He has the ability to change that thing that is bad. So he says to him, Fulanun ya'malu kaza. Say, so and so is doing so and so thing. Fasjur, tell him to stop. Warn him against it. Fasjurhu an. Warn him regarding it. وَنَحْوَ ذَلِكَ. And things like that. وَيَكُونُ مَقْصُودُهُ. This kind of a person, the absolute interest he has in all of that he has done. التَّوَصُّلُ إِلَىٰ إِزَالَةِ الْمُنْكَرِ. He is seeking an intermediary to help him change something that is bad. فَإِنْ لَمْ يَقْصِدْ ذَلِكَ. If his intention is that he's not seeking to make the second person talk to the first person who is doing something bad, he just wants to expose you. You know that your husband is a person of honor. People respect him everywhere. You want to expose him. You call one of his best friends, hey, so person did so thing. That person you are telling cannot even talk to you. This is haram. But if it's a person who can approach him and talk to him, it is halal. Just like Sultan, the first one, At-Tibyān. The person you are reporting the case to, he does not have ability to be saying, oh, Allah, no. Like somebody said that he's reporting President Tinubu to Osun State Governor. Abẹ́bíẹ̀ yọnu ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè hàn síta ni. To who? That's why the best of what you can do regarding your heads like that is dua. Dua. You want to report President Tinubu to who? Tell me who you want to report him to. You say, it's Izalatul Munkar. At least the Ayatu ala Tajiri Munkar. So who is it? Ta'anios of Munkose Kabuda. But now, those who are close to him who listen to him, he has people like that. So you go and tell that person, sir, I don't know, maybe when you are president, you are talking. Abdur-Raūf himself and one brother, they have done like that before. This Abdur-Raūf. They went to meet somebody, they tell him about Tinubu. If you meet president, tell him like this, be like this, be like this. That must say, inshallah, we will do it. So a person you know that this one, they are close, they listen to one another, they talk, they gist, like his wife. That one will talk, say it. I mean, the wife will not say it. Huh? That mama that you are saying, so, but if it is not a person who is in the position to effect a change, then don't say it. Don't expose that fault. You see this religion now, everything according to its limits of needs. Ad-darura tuqaddaru biqadariha. Just according to the limits. The first one is at-tadallumu. الثاني الاستعانة على تغيير المنكر ورد المعاصي إلى الصواب. You are asking for help to be able to effect a change. So he said, rahimahullah, وَيَكُونُ مَقْصُودُهُ, the intention of somebody complaining to a bigger person to help him effect a change. The intention must be التوصل إلى إزالة المنكر. He is looking for an intermediary to help him effect a change and remove something that is bad. فَإِنْ لَمْ يَقْصِدْ ذَلِكَ. If his intention is not that, كَانَ حَرَامًا, it is haram. In fact, If you are telling somebody who can effect a change, and your intention is not for him to be able to effect a change, it is haram. It's haram. The first one is at-tabatlum. The second one is what? Al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. He said, as-salisu al-istifta'u. Asking for a verdict, asking for a ruling about the matter. You want to ask, Ustaz, what does Allah say about this matter? بِأَنْ يَقُولَ لِلْمُفْتِ. By he saying to Mufti, where is Mufti? Mufti, he didn't come to class today, Abu Abdul Salam. بِأَنْ يَقُولَ لِلْمُفْتِ. That someone goes to the person who is known to give the fatwa in the town, or in the city, or in the state, or in the community, or recognized like that. This is our Ustaz, or this is our Shaykh. You want to ask for a verdict regarding a matter. So you say to him, Zalamani Abi, my father was unfair to me. He did this and this and this to me. Aw Akhi, aw Zalamani Akhi. Oh, my brother was unfair to me. Aw Fulanun, or so and so cheated me regarding so and so. فَهَلْ لَهُ ذَلِكَ أَمْ لَا? Is it correct for him to do that or not? وَمَا طَرِيقِي فِي الْخَلَاصِ مِنْهُ. How do I become free from that matter? وَتَحْصِيلِ حَقِّي. How do I get my rights? وَدَفْعِ الظُّلْمِ عَنِّي. How do I put away that injustice from myself? You are asking the Mufti that question. My father collected my money. And that one happened a lot in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. I don't want to open up this discussion. Each of these matter has a hadith that supports them. Each of them. He said so too at the end. So I just don't want to be in a haste. Imam Nawawi said, all of these ones that I said, hadith. In this case particularly, we have the hadith of Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan, radiyallahu anhu. She came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She said, radiyallahu anha, my husband, la yu'tini min an-nafaqati ma yakfini. My husband does not give me money for maintenance that will be sufficient for me. وَيَكْفِي بَنِيَّ. It will be sufficient for me and sufficient for my children. إِلَّا مَا أَخَذْتُ مِنْ مَالِهِ بِغَيْرِ إِذْنِهِ. Except what I take from his wealth without his permission. A wife was saying to the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, the husband does not give her good enough money for herself and for her child, unless I go to his wardrobe. Don't allow the women know where you keep money. They will go to the wardrobe. She said, unless I go and take the money, بِغَيْرِ إِذْنِهِ, without his permission. Is she mentioning his fault or not? She's mentioning his fault. This one has many. The hadith of Safwan ibn Mu'attal in Sunan Abi Dawud, the wife came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to report him. He said when she's making Qiyamul Layl, the husband will just carry her to the bed. When she's fasting, the husband will just carry her to the bed. And this my husband, he is sleeping when people are observing Salatul Fajr. Is she mentioning his fault or not? He's mentioning his fault. The mother, the listifta, she wants fatwa. How do I handle the case? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he asked him, فَهَلْ عَلَيَّ أَنْ أَخُذَ مِنْ مَالِهِ سِرًّا. Is it lawful for me to collect my husband's money secretly? He doesn't give me enough money. Can I be collecting his money, put in the wardrobe, they go and collect it? I know people who have experienced things like this. Don't be putting your money in your wardrobe. Hide it properly. Sometimes they will tell you when they will collect the money. You start asking, hey, where is my money? They will not even answer you. So this is the case of al-istiftah. That is what we need from that hadith. They are mentioning the faults of their husband, not by way of disgracing the husband, but by way of doing what? Asking for fatwa, how to handle the matter. وَكَذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُ. Likewise, when the individual says, زَوْجَتِي تَفْعَلُ مَعِي كَذَا. My wife is like this, like this, like this. My wife, Kiboro, my wife. If you tell her stand up, she'll sit down. If you tell her sit down, she'll do what? She'll stand up. What can I do? Like the work of Abdur-Raūf. A man in that work asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, my wife can abuse me. There is nothing she cannot say about me. The Prophet said, "Talliq her, divorce her." Because he has mentioned her faults now does not mean that it is haram. It is ghiba. This is ghiba mubaha. Ghiba that is what? Lawful. Limada? Lisabab al-istiftah. Because it has been done by way of doing what? Asking for fatwa. But here this advice. So I'm coming back to it. وَكَذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُ. Likewise when the man says, زَوْجَتِي تَفْعَلُ مَعِي كَذَا. My wife is like this. Ìyàwó mi yọ̀lẹ́, ìfọ̀bọ̀, ìkálẹ̀, ìtọ́lẹ̀. Men say it a lot. أَوْ زَوْجِي يَفْعَلُ كَذَا. Or the woman says, my husband is doing like this. وَنَحْوُ ذَلِكَ. And things like that. فَهَذَا جَائِزٌ لِلْحَاجَةِ. This one is permissible because of what? Need and what? Necessity. وَلَكِنْ. However, الْأَحْوَةُ أَنْ يَقُولُ. A safer thing is for the man or the woman to say, مَا تَقُولُ فِي رَجُلٍ كَانَ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ كَذَا. O Messenger of Allah, what can you say regarding a man who behaves like this? Without mentioning his name. Without mentioning her name. أَوْ فِي زَوْجٍ. What can you say regarding a husband? أَوْ فِي زَوْجَةٍ تَفْعَلُ كَذَا. What can you say about a wife who does this kind of thing? وَنَحْوَ ذَلِكَ. And expressions like that. فَإِنَّهُ يَحْصُلُ بِهِ الْغَرْض. Because once you say, what Messenger of Allah, what can you say about a woman who is behaving like this? What can you say about a man? You will get the fatwa. Is it not fatwa that you want? If you ask without mentioning the name, you will get the fatwa correct. مِنْ غَيْرِ تَعْيِينٍ. Without directly specifying him. وَمَا ذَلِكَ التَّعْيِينِ. Even in that case, التَّعْيِينُ جَائِزٌ. If you mention his name, it is what? It is lawful. It is not only between husband and wife. Two brothers have a matter amongst themselves. One of them narrated it like this, the other one narrated it like this. And they are mentioning each other's names. It is not ghiba. They are narrating it to someone who will help resolve the matter. It is not considered as from ghiba. Some of us, when we hear things like this, hey, you want, come on, forward, Hanama. Shaykh, doctor, don't say Shaykh. You start saying, they carry the matter. Come on, borrow Hanama. That is not ghiba. It is not ta'yin. If it is true that the person they are asking can actually answer the question, can actually guide you, can actually put things right, then it is not ghiba. But the best is that you don't mention his name. Like saying, if a brother does like this, and then he does like this, and then he does like this, you will get your answer. If you say, brother, so did so to me too, what should I do? You'll also get your answer. But the first one is better without biduni ta'yin. وَإِنْ كَانَ بِالتَّعْيِينِ فَجَائِزٌ. The hadith of Hind. He brought the hadith of Hind. الَّذِي سَنَذْكُرُهُ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ. That we shall mention later, but we have already mentioned it. وَقَوْلُهَا. What she said was that, Ya Rasulallah, O Messenger of Allah, Inna Abu Sufyan rajulun shahih. Abu Sufyan is stingy. Shuhku is worse than al-bukhul. He said, my husband, shahih. Inna Abu Sufyan shahih. This Abu Sufyan is stingy. The shahih is one. He will not give you his own. That one is stinginess, go al-bukhul. But the one who has shukr, he adds one thing to it. He wants to take from your own. What do Yoruba kill among you? Huh? Eh? Olahu. Olahu olere. Olahu lole. Olahu mole. Ah. He has ahum plus what? Ahum plus ole. Wallahi, she has mentioned her husband's fault. But she did not mention it just to mention his fault. She wants to know whether that money she's collecting. So she said, Radiyallahu anha, فَهَلْ عَلَيَّ جُنَاحٌ, do I have a sin? And أَخُذَ مِنْ مَالِهِ سِرًّا, if I take his money secretly, do I have a sin? What is she doing? She's asking for fatwa from the Prophet Muhammad. So it is lawful. So Imam said, Rahimahullah, وَلَمْ يَنْهَهَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. The Prophet did not tell her it is wrong. Hey, don't do that. Don't speak to your husband. No. Because that's not the matter. You see, the Prophet did not start explaining, hey, Abu Sufyan is not thinking, he didn't explain. Because that's not the matter. The matter is the fatwa. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam allowed her. He said, فَخُذِي مِنْ مَالِهِ مَا يَكْفِيكِ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Take from his wealth what will be sufficient for you. How? بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. In a nice way. You can take it secretly without telling him. So if your husband falls short in providing food at home, I know a brother like that. The wife told me that, Abu, I said, my husband is very rich. Sometimes women think like that about their husband, and it's not like that. Allah will cover you so much so that even your wife think that you are rich. You know this kind of man? Allah will protect you. Even your wife thinks that you are stupendously rich. Wallahi, it's big favor of Allah. Whatever you are doing that Allah gives you this value, keep doing it. Don't stop it. Ọlọ́gbọ́ láti rí dé kí pé ìyàwó rẹ̀ gan rò pé mílíọ̀nù bẹ́ńlé ẹ̀yẹn bí léèrè kẹta yóò pè. No food delays at home. There is food. They want to buy clothes, you buy. Bag, you buy. Shoe, you buy. You put them in the house, they are comfortable. And you have children a lot. And you too, you are fine every day. Go to manigators in your lara, sorry. Wallahi, the wife, if you say wallahi today, no money, you say, and now, see gas matter, they'll just send you a text message, Abu, gas has finished. Immediately, you quickly transfer money for gas. You say, I want to Basiri ni Allah give us, all of us, this virtue. Kasiri opo, jebi pe ki yawo gan ma ro pe owo nbe, kò sì sówó. Ọlọ́run kó mú wá láti rí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Not to talk of people outside. When they see you driving your car, they say, ha, Allah, the way you give this man money, give me too. They don't know. Allah just give him basili. There's one woman we buy fish from our hands. Our company is Basiri Food Fish Company. I hope she's not hearing you. May Allah protect all of us. So a man, in this case, the wife can mention him. The first case we mention is what? At-Tibyān. The second case is what? Al-Isti'ānatu ala taghyīr al-munkari wa radd al-'aasi ila as-sawāb. الثالث is what? Al-Istiftā. الرابع تحذير المسلمين من الشر ونصيحتهم. تحذير المسلمين. warning the rest of the Muslims, min ash-sharri, from an impending evil, wa nasihatihim, or wa nasihatuhum, and giving them advice about that person. Hey, be careful. This one has 5 manifestations, 5 ways that can happen. Warning Muslims. Hey, Muslims, be careful, be careful. 4 days ago, I saw on one woman's WhatsApp status. She wrote, beware of this man. It's a brother with beard. Beware of this man. You know that danger? Circle and red like this. Don't marry your daughter to him. He is going to divorce your daughter. This, that. So I just messaged that person. I said, you are disgracing this person. You are not. This is not from the aspect of who are you sending this message? You are sending it to everybody. You and your husband, you have problem. You are now doing disclaimer of danger to your husband. Alhamdulillah, she quickly, immediately she removed it. You are to I just saw WhatsApp status. Danger. Don't marry your daughter to him. What's all that? May Allah protect us. So tahzirul muslimin, warning the rest of the Muslims, min ash-sharri, from evils, wa nasihatuhum, and advising them. Wa dhalika min wujuh. And Imam An-Nawawi said that one can happen in many forms. He mentioned 5. Number 1, minha jarhul majruhin min ar-ruwat. How do I explain that? Jarhul majruhin. There are those who report a hadith, and their hadith is weak because they are weak. They don't have the ability to retain messages in their mind. They can't even write it down because Dabtan, there are 2 ways to retain message. You either memorize it immediately as they are saying it, or you write it down, or both. Like Imam Ahmad. As we are talking, he's memorizing it, and he is writing it down. Imam Ahmad has the 2. He has Dabtu al-Sadri and Dabtu al-Kitab. So the ulama say, Jarhul Majruhi, to expose the weakness of those who are weak, amongst those who report ahadith, was shuhud, and those who stand in witness in law courts. Mori Oshoju me. So you say, you are also saying Oshoju re. You are saying Kiru Dede. This is Jarhu Shahid. You are exposing that he is not qualified to stand in as what? As a witness. Just like you expose someone who reports a hadith to say, you that you hardly remember something. You are the one telling me Khabar Thiqa. You are the one telling us Khabar Thiqa. Man was Thiqa. Who graded you that you are Thiqa? Who told you you are Thiqa? Someone tells you something, you say, let me start. You say, come. You don't believe in Khabar Thiqa. So you ask him, who are you? What the Quran tells us is that Fala tuzaku anfusakum. He calls himself Thiqa. Man was Thiqa. Man adalaka. Who told you that you are adil? Not to say Bob. So if you have adala, do you have Bob? If truly you are not a person of sin and indecency, do you memorize what you see? Are you able to convey the information without distorting it? So Jarhul Majruhin, to say regarding those who report ahadith, this one is da'if, this one is majhul, this one is mubtadi, this one is like that. As the scholars of hadith do, it is lawful. وَذَلِكَ جَائِزٌ بِإِجْمَاعِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. That one is allowed by ijma' of the people of Islam. Bal wajibun lil haja. In fact, we need to know whether that hadith is sahih or not. Because our need to know whether that hadith is sahih or not, or our need to obtain evidence from a person who is trustworthy about talaq. Allah says, وَأَشْهِدُوا ذَوَيْ عَدْلٍ مِّنْكُمْ وَأَقِيمُوا الشَّهَادَةَ لِلَّهِ. ذَوَيْ عَدْلٍ مِنْكُمْ. Two people who are people of fairness and trustworthiness. They are those who should witness that there is a divorce. A man says to his wife, "Talaqtuki, I divorce you." Who witnesses it? If nobody was there, the man will send message to who? To anybody who is trustworthy. Allah says, "Ashhidu, make them witnesses." The way admin. Two people of trustworthiness, minkum, amongst you the Muslims. So, the man sends a text message to one person, he sends another text message to another brother. So they go to court. They say, who were the witnesses of that divorce? They mention brother A and brother B. One of those in court say, you, this brother A, he doesn't pray. This brother A, he shaves his beard. He does his back. He backbites people. He cannot be a witness. This is just to shine. You are pointing out the fault of the person who came to stand as a witness. In a case where he has no local standing to stand as a witness. Lawyer, say local standing elected. He has no place, he has no right to stand as a witness. When you expose him, it is lawful in Islam. So you can say, "Look, this is diva. Why are you insulting me?" It's not insult to Abba. In fact, it is wajib. It is compulsory on me to expose you. That you are not qualified to stand as a witness in a case in court. Or that somebody is reporting hadith and you know that he tells lies. Hey, come. You lie. You tell a lie. You are not the one to report hadith. It could be compulsory. The second case to warn the rest of the Muslims against evil is man istasharaka mastasharaka insanun fi musaharatihi. Someone comes to make asking for guidance from you. Fi musaharatihi. He wants to marry his daughter to another man. Aw musharakatihi. أو إبدائه أو إيدائه عنده. He wants to marry a daughter to him. أو مشاركته. Or he wants to bring him together in a business. أو إيدائه أو إبدائه عنده. Or that he wants to place something to him in his care. He wants to travel. He calls the brother, "Hey, come, take my car. Keep it for me till I come." You know about him that this one, he will remove your petrol injector. He will put another one here. He will remove your own and sell it and buy one that is fake and put it there. You say, business is business. That is the kind of person that he is. Don't give him your car. Or fi musaharatihi. He wants to marry his daughter to him. He wants to be his in-law. Say, "Hey, don't marry your daughter to this brother." You know that case during the time of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. The hadith of Fatima bint Qais radiyallahu anha. All of these, أو معاملته بغير ذلك. Or he also wants to relate with him. He has some business transactions, other relations. Say, "Hey, be careful. This man, you want to rent him a house in your house. You have two flats. You are living in one. He wants to rent the other one. And you want to be comfortable. You will not be at home. Your wife will be at home. You quickly go and tell them, "Hey, why? In fact, the scholars say, if you don't expose the actual faults, that if you say they will accept it and not bring him to that house. It is enough. But if they will not accept until you explain. Is this clear to us? The Shaykh says in these conditions, وَجَبَ عَلَيْكَ أَن تَذْكُرَ لَهُ مَا تَعْلَمُهُ مِنْهُ عَلَى جِهَةِ النَّصِيحَةِ. It becomes compulsory for you to tell that person what you know about the other person. ala jihati An-Naseehah, from the aspects of giving him sincere advice. فإن حصل الغرض بمجرد قولك لا تصلح لك معاملته أو مصاهرته أو لا تفعل هذا. If the objective will be achieved merely when you say, don't marry your daughter to that man. Don't let your son marry that girl. Or don't deal with that man. Don't do it. No, don't do it. If this is enough, the Shaykh says, Rahimahullah, لم تجز الزيادة بذكر المساوي. In that case, لم تجز الزيادة بذكر المساوي. It is not lawful for you to be mentioning those faults. If when you say, no, don't deal with him. Someone comes to me and says he wants to be selling recharge card. I should give him 200,000 naira to go and open recharge card. He said, in fact, one of those who knows me is Alliance. I say, okay. He went away, I just called Alliance. Alliance. So person said he wants to be selling recharge card. What do you think? Say, Abu Emma Badan Kapo. Say, okay. Jazakallah khair. But if he says Emma Badan Kapo, don't join business with him. And I say, why? He said, you now explain. But if you say, don't connect with him, it's enough. I say, Jazakallah, then it's okay. Don't say the details of why you say I should not relate with him. But if I am not convinced, I say, but the brother looks like Onisuna, he has Biabia. Or one sister comes to say, he likes to marry a brother. I say, which brother? I say, Abu something. Abu Abdur-Rahman, let me give an example. I don't mean lawyer. I say, who can I ask about? You say, ask Mufti. I have a case like that. I say, who do I know about? They say Mufti. I said Mufti. He said, okay. So I didn't ask Mufti. Deliberately. I was waiting. So me be Mufti. He called me again and said, why have I not asked Mufti? I said, why? I said, Mufti should have addressed the matter. He said, Bobo, I want Mufti want to permit. So tell Mufti about the party. Only Mufti ti pa oti money ha go. E dada ni all those talk. Do we understand? I want Mufti ti party àti Abubakar I want to permit. Èmi ni kí wá bọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀dá finish. Nígbà táwọn ọmọ ẹ̀yà mi ń pọ̀ sí o. Ìwọ gangan sọ pé ẹ̀yìn pàtì ní ọdún. So I didn't ask Mufti today. So in some cases, if merely say that, don't relate with him. If it's enough, then he says, Rahimahullah, Lam yajuz az-ziyadatu bi dhikri al-masal. It is not lawful to go on to start mentioning the faults. وَإِنْ لَمْ يَحْصُلِ الْغَرْضُ إِلَّا بِالتَّصْرِيحِ بِعَيْنِهِ. If the objective will not be achieved until you directly, clearly mention the objective, فَاذْكُرْهُ بِالصَّرِيحَةِ. Then at that time, mention it and explain it. Number 3, مِنْهَا إِذَا رَأَيْتَ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي عَبْدًا مَعْرُوفًا بِالسَّرِقَةِ أَوِ الزِّنَا. You saw someone, he wants to buy a slave. That slave that he wants to buy, مَعْرُوفٌ بِالسَّرِقَةِ. Everybody knows that he steals. أَوِ الزِّنَا. Oh, he commits evil. أَوِ الشُّرْبِ. Or that he drinks alcohol. أَوْ غَيْرِهَا. Or that he commits other sins. فَعَلَيْكَ أَن تُبَيِّنَ ذَلِكَ لِلْمُشْتَرِي إِنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ عَالِمًا بِهِ. If the person who wants to buy it does not know, you have a duty to explain to your brother, don't buy that slave. That slave is a bad slave. He will corrupt your house. He will corrupt your work. He will corrupt your job. وَلَا يُخْتَصُ بِذَلِكَ. You will not keep that information to yourself. But, okay, you will not keep it to that person alone. Not just in that circumstance alone. بَلْ كُلُّ مَنْ عَلِمَ بِالسِّلْعَةِ الْمُبِيعَةِ عَيْبًا. It is not only in that scenario. Every person who knows that there is a product people are advertising and it has for you, وَجَبَ عَلَيْهِ بَيَانُهُ لِلْمُشْتَرِي إِذَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْهُ. It becomes compulsory for you to explain it to the person who wants to buy that product who does not know. Somebody advertises a car, very nice car. 2020 Highlander. And it's fine. We painted it. You know the way people do when they want to sell a used car? They paint it, it will be fine. Another thing that will be fine inside it, you know, it's air condition. Another thing that will be fine in it, you know, it's starter. Those are the three things people quickly look at in a car they want to buy. You start it. He said, oh, you say, oh, Okogijini. The second one, they quickly press the AC. Say, Apepe, Monsieur Lawyer. So you think that it's a good car, but it has gear problems. If a car has gear problems, all these ones that we are talking about, they are what? They are nonsense. Nonsense. So if you know this kind of a trouble, you have a duty to call your brother. One day we went to buy a car like that, been long. That was 2006 or 7. Abu Babalasho Ahmed and the brother Abu Jihad. I just came here, I was living in Kaduna, so I came, they started a car. When I heard the volume of the sound of the car, I know that that car has problem. So they were discussing. I didn't join them in the discussion. I was just praying that Allah will reject me and you work. Once they just leave the place, look, I just draw Abu Ahmad. I was just drawing him, let's go. Yes, that people said in the car, say, Alaji, if you want to say, okay, I'm going to look at Chapa, but I didn't want to get ever. Don't buy that. So you have a duty to explain to your brother. Any product people are selling, that product has a problem. The people don't know about it. Wajab alayhi bayanuhu lil mushtari. It becomes compulsory for you to explain it to those who want to buy it. If that person who wants to buy it does not know that fault, you have to explain the fault. Somebody is selling a phone. The phone has a fault. I know that it has a fault. Someone wants to sell it. Say, hey, that phone has a fault. I have a duty. The person selling it to has a duty to explain. See this phone. It has this fault. It has this fault. But the fault can be rectified. Take it, they will repair it, they will change it. I want to, they cannot tell you, go and change it and sell it. Say, no, I want to sell it like that. You are the one who will now go and change it and you can sell your thing like that. You negotiate like that. That one, there's no problem. Anybody who trades like this, Allah will bless his trade. According to the Prophet Muhammad. But if you are hiding the fault, everybody who knows that fault has a duty. وَجَبَ عَلَيْهِ بَيَانُهُ لِلْمُشْتَرِي إِذَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْهُ. He has a duty to explain it to the person who wants to buy it, as long as he does not know. Number 4. إِذَا رَأَيْتَ مُتَفَكِّهًا يَتَرَدَّدُ إِلَى مُبْتَدِعٍ. You saw a young person learning fiqh. يَتَرَدَّدُ إِلَى مُبْتَدِعٍ. He's going to meet one Al-Farq, 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 or a person who is learned, but who is upon this. Only now, she won't be again. May Allah protect us. You are for only man should go be again. إذا رأيت متفقها يتردد إلى مبتدئ. If you saw someone learning Islam, going and coming, going to a person of bid'ah, or fasiki, or a person of sinfulness, يأخذ عنه العلم. He goes to take knowledge from him. خفت أن يتضرر المتفقه بذلك. And you are scared that this young man going to learn the religion, you are scared that that person's bid'ah or that person's fisk will harm him. فَعَلَيْكَ نَصِيحَتُهُ بِبَيَانِ حَالِهِ. You have a duty to give nasiha, to explain the condition of that shaykh. So don't go there again. You have a duty. Don't go and learn from him again. Why? He's fasting. Why? He is a person of bid'ah. Why? He has girls in the madrasa and he misbehaves with the girls in the madrasa. Afi Gbaru. This one that I said, Afi Gbaru. Someone who has girls in the madrasa, he misbehaves with the girls in the madrasa. You have not heard it before. BBC Council. May Allah protect all of us. وَيُشْتَرَطُ أَنْ يَقْصِدَ النَّصِيحَةِ. In all of these, the condition is that he intends to advise the people, be careful. وَهَذَا مِمَّا يُغْلَطُ فِيهِ. This one, sometimes people commit mistakes about it. وَقَدْ يَحْمِلُ الْمُتَكَلِّمَ بِذَلِكَ الْحَسَدِ. Sometimes what will push the person who is reproaching that learned person is what? Al-hasad, jealousy. Or يُلَبِّسُ الشَّيْطَانُ عَلَيْهِ بِذَلِكَ. Or shaitan just makes him think that that learned person is like that, and he's not like that. وَيُخَيِّلُ إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ نَصِيحَةٌ وَشَفَقَةٌ فَلْيُتَفَطَّنُ لِذَلِكَ. It makes him think that it is nasiha. It is nasiha. Meanwhile, it is hasad that is his problem. Can the man need that his problem? It is not that he's giving nasiha to the young man who goes to him. The problem is that he is pushed by jealousy, by beefing. He is pushed by shaitan to think evil about that sheikh. The sheikh is not guilty from all those things. He said, because of this mistake, be careful about this area. Be careful. Let every person who wants to be doing that consider this. Let this be considered. That sometimes people are pushed by jealousy to criticize a learned person when the learned person is free from those accusations. I'll read the fifth one and I'll stop there. وَمِنْهَا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُ وِلَايَةٌ لَا يَقُومُ بِهَا عَلَى وَجْهِهَا. From the things we must warn the rest of the Muslims about is that a man has authority over some people. لَا يَقُومُ بِهَا عَلَى وَجْهِهَا. And he does not take care of that thing as it is supposed to be taken care of. إِمَّا بِأَنْ لَا يَكُونَ صَالِحًا لَهَا. Maybe because he's not capable of doing it. وَإِمَّا بِأَنْ يَكُونَ فَاسِقًا. Or that the man is a person of sins. أَوْ مُغَفَّلًا. Or he is a person of low intellect. وَنَحْوَ ذَلِكَ. Or things like that. فيجب ذكر ذلك لمن له عليه ولاية عامة. That person in charge of the affairs who is incompetent or who is a fasik or who is not just doing well, you can report him to someone who is above him, who has a bigger authority over him. ليزيله, so that they can remove him. فيولي man yasluhu, and then they can bring someone who is competent for the job. Or ya'lam dhalika minhu. Or you are telling him so that he will know about him. You are telling the president about the governor so that he will know about this governor. لِتَعَامُلِهِ بِمُقْتَضَى حَالِهِ, so that he will be relating with him according to that information that you are giving him about him. وَلَا يَكْتَرُ بِهِ, and he will not be deceived by him. وَأَنْ يَسْعَى فِي أَنْ يَحُثَّهُ عَلَى الْإِسْتِقَامَةِ, and you are telling him so that he can make efforts about doing what? Encouraging him to be firm, to steadfast. Somebody is in charge of something. He's not doing it well. Let me give us a practical example that happened. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he was placed over Kufa. Some people came to report to Umar radiallahu anhu, he does not know how to observe Salah, and he's not taking the wilayah serious, he does not know how to judge, he did this, that. Umar did not say that is giver. Radiallahu anhu. This is our point of reference. What Umar rather did was he investigated the case until it became clear that it was a lie that was said against Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. But the point here is, someone who is upon a lower level of governance, you can report that person to a bigger constituted authority. How? Why? So that they can change him or so that they can encourage him to be doing well, or so that they can teach him, or so that the governor, the president will know those palliatives they send, they've not distributed it to. The president can say, oh yeah, go and distribute it. There are governors that have been said that they didn't distribute. Allah. You can report that case to president if you have opportunity. Maybe you made Umrah, you saw him in Tawaf. Say, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. Oh, at Tawaf, what do you say? La ilaha illallah, or Subhanallah, bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-azim. You just look by your side, you saw Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you say, Baba Re, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum salam. So in our own state, they have not distributed palliative. We didn't see 5 billion. We didn't see 2 trucks of rice. In your state? He said, yes, sir. Which state are you from? You mentioned the state. Don't say it is Oshun. You mentioned the name of the state. Say, oh, don't worry, I'll call the governor. So in this kind of a case, it is not giver. So when you say, if it's a giver, governor, it's a giver. It's not giver. Another thing you benefit, like Imām Nawawi said, is it will reflect in how he will be related to God. Hey, governor, why don't you people distribute your palliative? 5 billion and bags of rice. Why did you not distribute it? If it were a minister, they say, oh, they throw some money to some private accounts. They say, remove him. Remove that minister. Put another person there. So that kind of a narration is not giver. Because you are complaining to a bigger authority who can really effect a change. And that change cannot be effected unless you mention that fault. So mentioning that fault is jaizun bil ijma. It is allowed by the ijma, by the consensus of ulama. Out of 6 we have mentioned 4. I think we can stop here inshallah and complete in the next class. What are we talking about? Al-Imam Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali said, فأما إن كان فيه مصلحة لعامة المسلمين خاصة لبعضهم وكان المقصود منه تحصيل تلك المصلحة فليس بمحرم بل مندوب إليه. If you have to mention the fault of somebody for a particular benefit that the Ummah will benefit from, it is encouraged. In fact, like we have been reading from Al-Imam Al-Nawawi, it can even be what? Compulsory. You have to say it. You have to explain it. I hope that it is clear, inshallah. You see the difference between Naseehah and Ta'eed is gradually getting clearer. There is difference between Naseehah, advice, and criticism. So you see, some people can be thinking that all these ones are aspects of Ta'eed, instead of understanding that it is from the aspects of what? An-Naseehah. I hope that it is clear today, inshallah. We'll continue from here in the next class. I will take one question. One. And I want a question that's connected to the class. Can we hear clear? Alhamdulillah, we can stop here. Subhanakallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka. Assalamu alaikum.